Well, bore da on this Friday morning. Let me read to you one verse from Paul's letter to the Romans, chapter 11, and I'm reading verse 33. Paul says, "Oh, the depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments, and how inscrutable his ways." If God has begun to somehow seem boring and ordinary to you, it may be because you have forgotten how to uncover and discover more of him in his word, in his creation, and in your own life. One of the great and tragic consequences of sin is that it draws a veil over his goodness, whether for a moment of weakness or over a lifetime of rebellion. Even after we are born again, new heart, new eyes, new spirit-filled appreciation for the beauty, wisdom, and power of God, Satan does everything he can to distract us from that glory, to convince us that God is really bland, simple, uninspiring, and colourless. You see, many of us simply cannot fathom a God who never changes and yet always surprises and satisfies us. And yet, he never does. He never changes. And yes, he always will surprise and satisfy us. Oh, the depths of God. Paul, you see, the apostle, after finishing in Romans, explaining the unexplainable, the sovereign purpose of God in choosing and saving whom he chooses and saves, he holds up his arms, as it were, in humility and wonder, and declares, "Oh, the depths of the riches and wisdom and knowledge of God! How unsearchable are his judgments, and how inscrutable his ways." Paul goes on to say, "For who has known the mind of the Lord, or who has been his counselor, or who has given a gift to him that he might be repaid? For from him and through him and to him are all things. To him be glory forever and ever. Amen." You see, the God of those verses is simply incapable of being boring, unsearchable, inscrutable, indescribable. He surpasses all our poor, thin, short-sighted expectation for beauty and pleasure. If we are bored with God, then our hearts surely have been cooled by our own brokenness and not by any deficiency or limitations in him, because there is none. He knows all that there is to know at all times and in all of history. Everything about everyone, including you and me this morning. His wisdom unravels, and yet every decision and trouble with flawless judgment, perfect justice, matchless mercy, and infinite ease. His riches cannot be counted or stored, because there is nothing in any universe that is not already his. All things are from him, originating in his unrivaled creativity and supremacy, and through him, waiting moment by moment for his nourishing and sustaining power, and to him revealing the height and depth of his worth. Yes, his greatness is unsearchable, says the psalmist. Our God, as he really is, drowns any human imagination with awe. Yes, God is certainly not boring. His greatness is unsearchable. One day we'll get to heaven and see him face to face, and you know what? Even when we've been there 10,000 years, having seen 10,000 years worth of good, each filled with their own memories and experiences of God, we will still have only dipped our toes into all we will yet see of him. Leave with the words of Fanny Crosby. Oh, the unsearchable riches of Christ, wealth that can never be told, riches and exhaustless of mercy and grace, precious, more precious than gold. Oh, the unsearchable riches of Christ, who shall their greatness declare? Jewels whose lustre our lives may adorn, pearls that the poorest may wear. Precious, more precious, wealth that can never be told. Oh, the unsearchable riches of Christ, precious, more precious than gold. God is not boring. Have a great weekend.